Our story starts here with Mitchell Magic Madison. As he opened his eyes, all he could see was a bright, shining light. It felt like it was calling to him. Was he dead? Was this heaven? Surely not. He didn't deserve to go to heaven. He'd gambled, he'd treated countless women terribly. But most of all, he'd betrayed Daryl, someone he had looked after and mentored since he was a young boy. He'd left him for dead and stolen his fortune, all to save his own skin from the Spanish mafia. He didn't deserve anything good. He didn't deserve to live. As he lay there a while longer, the pain suddenly hit him. He was alive. How was he alive? His last memory was of the plane hitting the water, but here he was, laying on a beach of what looked like a desert island, in his suit with nothing but his watch and his fake passport still in his pocket. No sign of any plane wreckage or the pilot, and no sign of his bag with the $3 million in cash he'd stolen from Daryl. After walking around for a while, he came to the realisation that he must be getting punished for all his bad deeds. If this was to be his new life now, he was going to make the best of it. As a young boy, Mitchell had spent many hours camping and helping out in his grandfather's woodshed, so he sat about building a fire and making himself a small shack to live in. Every night he would gaze at the stars, feeling shame for what he'd become and for what he had done. One day though, whilst walking down the beach looking for food, he came across a couple walking the dog. The couple informed Mitchell that this wasn't a desert island, but was in fact a small island just off the coast of Georgia, USA. The man let Mitchell borrow some spare clothes, and after a long walk down the beach he found a small rowing boat. Mitchell jumped in and set off to the mainland. Not far from the beach he found a supply shack, pawned his expensive watch and bought everything he needed, leaving him with only $1 left in his pocket. He decided to hit the road and see where it would take him. It would give him time to contemplate. With every step though, he would just think about Daryl. Did he survive the car crash? Is he okay? If only I could go back and change what I did. But I can't. And after several days of walking and without eating, Mitchell had camped out by the roadside and fallen asleep. And that evening a red truck pulled up to the tent. The family inside were about to change his life forever. They saw the horrible state Mitchell was in. They collected all his things and put him and them in the back of the truck. After a good few hours drive, Mitchell woke up. He had no idea why he was in the red truck driving down the road, but from the warm smiling faces looking at him through the glass, he really didn't care. He felt safe. It wasn't long before they arrived at the farm, home of the Davis family, a good Christian farming family who mainly looked after horses. Bob Davis had not met his young beautiful wife until he was 60 years old. Hannah Davis was 30 years his junior, but she loved her husband very much, and the couple had a young son, Bob Jr., or Bobby as he was known. They welcomed Mitchell into their home and fed him. They gave him his own room, all of which was under one condition. Mitchell would get free rent and food if he would help work on the farm. With Bob Sr. getting older and the family short on money, they needed all the help they could get. Mitchell was happy with the offer. He'd gone past wanting the finer things in life because he didn't deserve them. It was time he did some good in this world, especially after being shown so much kindness. Mitchell took to life on the farm like a duck to water. He loved the freedom, he loved working with the horses, and he loved that nobody knew the terrible things he'd done. They all knew him as Larry Longschlong, his fake identity. He had a fresh start at a new life, one he really didn't deserve. Why was he saved? He'd been placed here for a reason, although he wasn't sure on what the reason was yet. And after several months of living on the Davis' farm, Bob Sr. was taken ill and died suddenly. Mitchell knew that day that he would have to stay and look after Bob Jr. and Hannah. He'd never been to church before, but now he went every Sunday with Bobby and Hannah to support them and to thank whoever it was up there that had brought them into his life, as they both made him a better man. Now as time passed, Mitchell grew closer to them both. With Bobby, he really felt like a surrogate father. Not in the way he had been to Daryl. He treated Daryl as a way to make money, and now he had the chance to do things the right way. With Hannah, the more time they spent together, the more he knew he was falling in love with her. They had so much in common, they were the same age, and she knew he loved her son and that she loved Mitchell. And it didn't take long for them to become official and get married. Young Bobby could not have been happier. With the farm now doing well, they could hire some staff to help with the day-to-day jobs, giving Mitchell, or Larry as everyone knew him, more time to spend with Bobby. Now, Mitchell had never been a coach, but he'd seen a young WONDERKIDS soccer player develop over a long period of time and spent countless days at La Masia in Barcelona watching training. He knew talent when he saw it, and every time he played kickabout with Bobby in the backyard, he noticed this kid could catch anything no matter where you put it. He really did have the potential to be a very good goalkeeper. Now, Bobby's catching skills had been noticed at high school, but his football coach said that was about all he could do, so he never made the football team. So Mitchell decided to spend hours with the young lad, training and teaching him, watching footage of goalkeeping greats together like Van der Sar and Petr Cech. Was this why he was saved? Was it to help this young man become a footballer? But instead of being motivated by greed this time, he was motivated by love. At 17, high school was almost over for Bobby, and he was looking into different universities around Georgia. But now his American football dream was well and truly over, and he was fully focused on becoming a goalkeeper like his stepdad said he could be. Mitchell thought to himself that the only kid he'd seen more motivated than Bobby to make it as a pro had been Daryl Motion. Scouts from the MLS had come to see Bobby play, and convinced by his talent, taught the family into forgetting all about university, and that he was good enough to enter the draft as one of the youngest players ever. Mitchell and Hannah agreed with him. So with the 2021 MLS draft underway, Bobby's stock was high. He was predicted to go in the top 20, but America and the MLS was shocked, as with the first pick, David Beckham and Inter Miami chose him as number 1. The manager, Phil Neville, felt like not only could he build from the back with Bobby, but that this kid had the potential to be a future USA national goalkeeper. Mitchell and Hannah could not have been prouder. Mitchell had been saved for a reason. He didn't know why, but he had been given a second chance to be a better man and to give another young lad a proper chance in this world as a footballer. But every night when he closed his eyes, he saw Daryl's face. He saw that crash, and no matter how much good he did, he could never make up for what he'd done to Daryl. But what has happened, and now with his new wife and his new life, he was going to support Bobby in every way he could. He hoped he'd found a little redemption, and when his time finally came, he would look into that light knowing he'd finally done some good in this world. Hello and welcome to Redemption. I'm Bood, and as always, thanks for joining me. It's massively appreciated. Get involved in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you want. Subscribe if you're new, and go and check out all my other content, you legend. But your view is the most important thing, and thank you for joining me. Hopefully you've seen Adversity, because these two kind of tie in, and there might be some at the end of this that ties all my 3 stories together, sort of. But here we are with Bobby Davis, Bobby Jr., as he embarks on a career as a goalkeeper. Now, of course, the story really revolved about the redemption of Mitchell Magic Madison, and how hopefully he's going to guide this kid and give this kid the WONDERKID career, albeit in a different position, that he took away from Daryl Motion. So how will Bobby's career pan out? Will he become a great for America? Will he play for his country? Will he stay in the MLS? Will he go on to bigger and better things? We're going to follow his career, and it's fairly interesting. It's good. We're going to see what he can do, where he goes, what he wins, and then we'll wrap up the story at the end. So here we are with Bobby Davis. Of course, a kid that grew up on the farm, had a very old father and a very young, beautiful mother. Always dreamt of being an American footballer, like probably most American children do. But obviously once his father died, and Mitchell took over that role and really mentored him, and noticed he had this natural talent to be able to catch anything. You know, he guided him into becoming a goalkeeper, and that's what he's done at 17 years old. Now, apparently, I looked, and apparently you can enter the draft at a young age. I think most players are 20, but for this story, he's going to be the youngest, or one of the youngest ever. So, you know, he's got a lot of potential. Obviously, starting out in America, will he reach that potential? Like, whenever you do things like this, you don't know. If you've seen The Last Chance, of course, the character of that story came back into football late, and things didn't work out like, you know, I would have liked it to. But then when we followed Daryl Motion's story, that was mint. So will this kid have a good career? Now, if you're wondering about Mitchell or Larry, he's not his agent or anything, because of course he might have a new identity, but you know, he's pretty well known in Europe. He can't go back to Europe. He can't risk being recognised. So he's going to be mentoring him and coaching him and caring for him in the background. So yeah, Bobby Davis, first pick of the draft. David Beckham, Phil Neville, and Inter Miami have chosen him to be their goalkeeper. And you know, he's good. He's promising. But can this kid have some career? Well, we're going to find out. So he's American. He's got no youth caps or anything. Can only speak English. He does have a preference though to play in Europe. He wants to become great. He wants to play in one of the big leagues. One thing I love, right, is the agent the computer's given him. Camden Butterworth. What a name. And of course, he's starting his career here at Inter Miami. They've got no history because they're new. But they got Phil Neville as the manager. He was an alright player. I think he was alright. I didn't mind Phil at Manchester United. Of course, David Beckham as one of the owners. Got some legends. Higuain up top. So, you know, it's a good place to start, I think. And for a new team, they've got decent odds there, haven't they, Miami? I mean, I've not looked at this before. But they're 9th. But the MLS getting bigger and bigger and bigger in it. I mean, I love it. I love the idea of playing in it as a manager, but it always annoys me when I do. I don't know what you feel about it. The rules and the contracts can all be quite confusing. But if it keeps getting bigger and bigger, what are they going to do? Are they going to keep it this format? I think they could alter it eventually. I mean, if you're American, let me know what you think. Do you like how it is? Would you like it to change to more of a European format? Maybe be able to get more players in, have no more standard normal contracts. Let me know what you think. I've now jumped forward to the year 2030. It's the 1st of June, and we're here with Bobby Davis, who is now 26 years old. And as you can see, he's already got 82 caps for his country. He's now a world-class goalkeeper, which is pretty cool. And he plays for FC Bayern Munich. That's awesome. And it also looks like he went to another MLS team. Went into Bayern 2 for a while. So he's worked his way in. So how's that all come about? So, of course, he started at Miami and he was straight into that first team, which is brilliant. I didn't know if he would at 17, but he's a good young player. Did okay. The next year, he definitely improved as a keeper. And then when I saw this, I was kind of shocked at first, thinking, wow, they trade a good goalkeeper. But then when I saw it was to Atlanta, Atlanta's in Georgia, and that's where he's from. So the computer will know he's from there because he's from a town in Georgia. So I just like that. Because he's not the fan of them, but he's got to go on to his home state for at least one season. His stepfather Mitchell and his mother Hannah would have been easy for them to pop over from the farm and go and watch him. So yeah, I'm buzzing with that. And it looks like he's made a move then to Bayern for £5 million. Up and down, I think, that season in both teams, Bayern 2 and Bayern. The next year, it looks like he was just a backup again for Bayern. And then he's got into that team. Now, they have Manuel Neuer, don't they? And he stays in that team for a while, so I wonder what happened to him. I'll have to check that out. So in his first season with Miami, he finished in 11th. It's alright. Nowhere near the playoffs, although his future team finished 3rd. Then his second season with Miami, he finished 10th. And Atlanta finished 3rd. And then the third year, he would have gone to Atlanta and he finished 3rd. So when he did make that trade to Atlanta, they'd have won the MLS Cup the year before, and then he would have moved then. So he might have missed out on a few things there. And you got the USA Cup as well. The US Cup, sorry. Well, Inter Miami have won it a few years later. Atlanta got to a final a few years later, but yeah, I don't think he's won anything there. So let's have a look at his proper history. So he got his first international cap against who? Bonaire? Age 19, North American Gold Cup Young MVP runner-up, North American goalkeeper of the tournament. I mean, he's won some awards there, hasn't he? If we go up though, he never really won anything. Didn't win anything for Miami or Atlanta, which is disappointing. Got in America's best 11, overall best 11 as well in 2024, and then won the league with Bayern. North American Gold Cup winners, won something with his country. Well done, Bobby Jr. Let's keep going. Won the Pokal, won the Bundesliga, won the German Super Cup, Bundesliga, Super Cup, Pokal, Bundesliga, European. Wow. He's got himself a treble. He's a treble winner. That is awesome. In the year 2028, won the Bundesliga again. North America Gold Cup winners, dominating there, isn't he? Back on home turf with his country at Pokal Bundesliga. He's going to win a ton of trophies, isn't he? With Bayern. So we have Mr. Neuer, Manuel Neuer, and obviously he's retired now. He's 44. If we go on his history, yeah, so I'm guessing, right, so Bobby was at Miami, Atlanta, And then this is when he first came. And then obviously he's pushed him out. He's had a year as a sub and gone, sod that, I'm retiring. Now he's been here quite a while, hasn't he? And he's obviously won and achieved quite a lot. And he's already made the icons list, which I'm pretty impressed with that. They've still got Julian Nagelsmann as the manager. So he's bossing it and Bayern are bossing it. And I kind of expect now, where does he go from here? Is he just going to crack on with Bayern and just stack up the trophies? Well, if we jump forward to 2040, no, he's now at AC Milan at 36 years old. And he looks like he's been here and played more than he ever did for FC Bayern. Why would he have moved from FC Bayern? I don't know, but he's got 201 caps. Legendary goalkeeper. And he's still at 36 a really good goalkeeper. So we left him there at Bayern. And he looked like he had another season. Maybe he didn't play as much. He was always in the 30s there, and he got to 29. Did he have an injury? Did they just find a regen goalkeeper that was better? You know, it can happen. And he decided to move to AC Milan for £97 million, where he's just been solid ever since. So here we are now on his history again. And of course, in 2031, he won the Bundesliga again. He won the North American Gold Cup, and he was bought for £97 million. Now, as soon as he goes to Italy, he's just stacking it up. Look at that. He's done trebles. He's done 2 trebles. Italian Cup, Serie A, and the Champions League with AC Milan. So he won't join an average Milan team. They look pretty good. North American Nation League winners. So back on with America. He's done really well. Copa America winner. Oh my God, European Super Cup winner. I wonder how he did in World Cups. We'll have a look how America did in the World Cups. So I was just hoping having some like superstar goalkeeper. Could that just be the final piece for America to do well in a World Cup? We will see. European South American Super Cup winners. Pretty impressive. I mean, if we keep going up, Serie A champions, Italian Cup Serie A champions, doing doubles for fun. Cup winners, Serie A champions, Nation League. He's done really well, hasn't he? I like it. I want him to do well, but I didn't know. You don't know where they're going to go. How his career pan out. He might have gone over to Europe and gone to an average team, or gone behind a really legendary goalkeeper, which he did at Bayern, I suppose. He pushed him out. But he might have ended up at a smaller team in Europe, and his career might not have took this kind of path, but I like that. I was a bit worried. He was just going to stay at Bayern. It was just going to be Bundesliga. But he's gone to 2 different big European countries and done really well. I wouldn't mind seeing him in the Premier League. But look at that. I mean, has he just helped Milan become awesome? I mean, Milan are good on the game, but they look like just dominated everything in Serie A. So, I mean, of course, you'll know yourself, Bayern dominate this game a lot, and usually for a long time. And if you play in the Bundesliga, it takes a little bit. You've got to catch it at the right moment to try and topple them, and I've done that before. They'll have a weak moment when some of the legends are going, like Lewandowski and so on, but it's not happened here. But look at that. I mean, so he's joined Milan around here. So Milan were already dominating, and then just continued to dominate. And he's on their legends list, but he should be. And look who the manager is. Wow. So Julian left the year before he left. And he went to Milan. And then he's the guy who's brought him in. That's mint. I love little things like that. So he's not done bad, has he, really? He's won quite a lot, and he's still a good goalkeeper. At 36, he could probably go on. I'll give him some natural fitness, so hopefully prolong his career. But how long will his career continue for? It's going to continue for, 4 years now? We're here in 2043, and this is the start of his last season, going into what's going to be his last season before he retires. And we will look at him when he retires. And at 39 years old, he looks like he's done a Dave Seaman, doesn't he? Midlife crisis, grown his hair. But AC Milan are famous for looking after their keepers, and he's gone back to being a world-class keeper. Wasn't he a legendary keeper? And now he's pushing 40, he's back to being world-class. Amazing. Look at his career for Milan. Little disappointed, though, a little bit, that he never went back to America. Because he doesn't. And I would have loved that. Absolutely loved it. But 209 caps, looks like, over the last few years. His international career was over. So he retired from international football in 2041, a year after we last looked. He speaks fluent German and fluent Italian. Jaap Stam, by the way, is still the manager of America. And look at him. I've got him as a coach on another series with Manchester Central. But he's had this managerial career right through America, and obviously become their manager, and he's still the manager at 71, and he's still playing for AC Milan. So obviously this is his last season, but last year he was still playing, so you expect him to keep playing. But let's have a look at the end. And here he is, 40-year-old Bobby Davies, has just retired, wants to become a manager. He'd happy to be an assistant. Doesn't look very good at it. He's probably in a fortune with the career he's had and all the medals he's won, and I'm pretty sure his stepfather would have been proud. But how much of that career did his stepfather actually get to see? As always, I like to look at a biography. Now, there's a lot of information there, so feel free to pause it and then read through it. Sorry. Now, wow, I'm going to have a look through it myself, but to read through his entire achievements would be insane. But you know what? He had a great career as a goalkeeper, an American goalkeeper, and would a Daryl Motion have had this career as a wonder kid for Barcelona, and where would he have gone? I mean, he had a great career as a manager, as you know, if you've watched Adversity. But this is kind of like payback. At least Mitchell helped guide someone and push him towards the career he took away from Daryl. Of course, Bobby Davies is in America's or USA's overall best 11. I mean, some of these guys are probably regens. Rayner's in there, of course. I know he is, but yeah, 207 caps. No one else came close. His average rating, I think it's the best out of them all, and for a goalkeeper, that's fantastic. Never scored a goal, but you know, I was hoping he might have run up there once, done a bit of a Peter Schmeichel. But yeah, what a career. What a career, but the story ain't over. So thank you for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I know my stories are a bit cheesy, but they are fun to make, and I know a lot of you enjoy them, and your view is massive, so thank you. If you're brand new to the channel, like I said earlier, make sure you go and check out some of my other content. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, and thank you for supporting these last 3 stories. But like I just said earlier, the story isn't over. There was one little thing a few years back that was going to happen. One day whilst at the farm watching TV, he was catching up on all the sport, and Daryl Motion's face popped up on the screen. Now, he'd been following Daryl's managerial career from afar, but this was a moment for Mitchell. Seeing Daryl's face, seeing Daryl sat there as the manager of Barcelona, made him super proud, but it also made him feel like he had one last thing to do. So he picked up his fake passport and, without telling his wife, hopped on a plane over to Greece, where the Champions League final was going to be played in Athens. And there he saw Daryl Motion in his first season as Barcelona manager lift the famous Champions League trophy. And as he stood in the crowd with a smile on his face, he felt proud, but he also felt guilt. He may have found some redemption and done some good since the events of Adversity, but he felt like there was still one last thing to do. So when he left the stadium, he walked straight into the local police station, and he handed himself in not as Larry Longschlong, but as Mitchell Magic Madison. He was instantly arrested and deported back to Spain, who then deported him back to Great Britain, where the judge sentenced Mitchell to a minimum of 15 years in Wakefield Prison in Yorkshire, where he would be spending those 15 years with a very, very familiar face in his cell, giving him plenty of time to think about his life. He'd done good, but he'd also done bad, and he had to come clean, and now he had a peace of mind. He truly did have his redemption.